I want to talk about some useful features inside of Visual Studio specifically for working with Git. And so the one thing that we've kind of touched on already that I'm going to highlight, that as soon as you start making changes, you're going to get some color coding as you save the file to let you know when you either add files, modify files, or remove files. And so you definitely get that color coding going on, which is a nice feature, but just to highlight that again. Now, what you might be wondering about, as soon as I hit save, you might have noticed that this source control tab on the left-hand sidebar says one pending change. So if we click on this, this is a graphical interface to be able to do everything that you can do from the terminal. And so beginners tend to want to use the GUI, the graphical user interface. And I would recommend actually not doing this initially until you get very comfortable with the different parts of working with Git. I will admit that I did this for a long time. Simply worked with the GUI, and it can work. However, it will help you to understand Git on a much deeper level when you understand all the commands from the command line, or from the terminal. Okay, it helps you become a quote-unquote power user to learn how to use Git from the terminal. And so for that reason, I do recommend learning the terminal, and we will continue to learn how to use the terminal as we go through this. But just to highlight the GUI features, we can stage changes using this plus, and we can unstage changes. And so just as we stage changes from the terminal, we can do that here. If we stage a change, then it's ready for a commit. It's added to the staging area. And before I actually do this commit, another thing that you can do here is you can click on a file and actually see the diff, which is very useful as you're making changes to your source code. And if you introduce a bug, what exactly did you change? You want to see the diff between what was removed, the word useful, and what is added, the word start making changes. Again, obviously not important what the changes are, but you could see what's added and removed from the last commit. That's called a diff. What's the difference between the last commit and the current staged changes? And so if I go ahead and do a commit here, you can kind of see it says it's ready to publish. We'll talk about that up and coming. I'm not going to do that, but you can see here again to do a commit with this check mark. I already did that with another check mark, did the same thing. The next thing that's very powerful is off of these three ellipsis dots. Basically, every command in Git is available in a GUI form off of this menu. Okay, so all the GUI commands here inside of this tab on the left-hand sidebar. One more thing, as you go down here, if you do get into a project that has many branches, you can switch branches. Notice where my cursor is down below. I'm going to click on the master branch by the default. Right now I'm just on master, that's the only branch, but you can create branches or switch between branches very easily down here. And last but not least, we are in Visual Studio. So the power of Visual Studio is, in many cases, all of the extensions that are out there. And so one of the most popular Git extensions is called Git Lens. You can see how many downloads, 28.9 million downloads. This is really useful as you work on larger projects to see exactly who wrote what line of code, and allows you to kind of visualize all the commits and all the different branches. And so this is a very popular extension. You could consider installing, again, very useful when you work on teams of many people.